Welcome back to Good Morning Mail. I'm getting a little lesson in watercolor by Robert Murray. And tell us what you're doing right now. What were you just telling me about?
What I'm doing is a near miss on an old house, say easternish Colorado, out in the plains, and this is like the effect of an old cabin, if you will, that's been a close miss by a tornado. So the wind would rip off the different siding levels and things. And what I'm doing is I'm aging this to make it look like the siding that was made about 30, 50 years ago has been slightly pulled off, wrinkled with all kinds of weathering on it to communicate. The name of this composition is going to be, this is kind of cute, Past Glory, Present Beauty. I think that art in and of itself can be a quite fascinating opportunity for us to showcase the most interesting, normal things that happen in life, but in an unusual and heartwarming way. So it's not always about loud and garish colors. It's about ambience. It's about memories. It's about what true human culture is and passing on the simplest of things that we take for granted. So what I'm doing is to get people excited about art, to come and see these events, to enter into the world of the artist, not just put something to pass over a blank spot on a wall. I'm a firm believer that if you want certain products and services in your community, and I didn't say society, that you have almost an obligation to patronize in some way, shape, fashion, or form the products and services you want in that community. In short, if you want to see really good artwork, and if you really want to have a nice product, well, then you got to give more than compliments, and you know we have to pay our bills too. So I try to motivate people to give their best, push the limit above and beyond what is just status quo. And what I do, it is in the hardest medium there is, which is watercolor, because you really can't correct. So instead of painting, I'll choose to dance with my brushes. So if you look at this now, that little itty bitty 3 or 4 minutes, it's starting to get aged. It's starting to have little striations and things that are just going to make this a magnificent composition. And what the neat thing about it is setting it off with all these, there you go, some dry brushing, so I can make it look like it's peeling off. I like the black eye Susans I'm going to put in the front, individual leaves. There's even going to be individual dirts and rocks and things of that nature. And it doesn't have to be garish colors, but I tell you what, it's going to warm someone's heart.
Robert, I feel like we just walked into your studio and just got a little glimpse at how your day goes, and you can certainly experience this too. So you'll be here all weekend long, again, 10 to 5 today, 10 to 5 tomorrow, and 10 to 4 on Sunday. And so we are just off the ice rink if you want to actually come and find Robert and learn a little bit more about his technique. Really quickly, can you tell us what you were telling me earlier about how the highlights and how the shadows tend to change in your work?
Oh, yes. So this is something that it fascinates me. Many people in the professional community and painters throughout history traditionally will use a color just for its color. What I like to do is get the full spectrum of between opaque all the way to transparent in every work I do. And what happens is that the light will come through and refract indifferently, so I can get the fiber optic illumination, so that when a bright light hits one of my pieces, only the areas I want illuminate will illuminate even more so. And I've increased the threshold of contrast so that when that bright light hits, the darks appear darker. So people are looking at my work, and one day I want to open a gallery and it'll be called "That's Watercolor?" with a question mark. Yes, you could do so much more just by a little bit of creative strategy. Choose the right pigments, not the color, and again, dance with your brushes. Don't paint. It's not an illustration. It's Alice looking through the looking glass, and you paint what you see inside.
I love it. All right, well, come and see Robert dance with his paintbrushes live right here at the Vail Arts Festival, 33rd annual. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the show.